Okay, good morning to all of you, and welcome to this best practice session. We are just stepping out of the foundation board of the first meeting of the board of the GAN at this new stage, and I would like briefly to share with you what we have presented in the case of Telefonica, that we have been honored by giving the chair of the board. Why are we here? Why Telefonica as a company is here? We think we can approach it from two sides. One side is we feel it is unacceptable to have the current levels of youth unemployment that we have in the countries where we are operating. We think that morally and ethically is unsustainable, and therefore we think that as individuals, the people that work in Telefonica, we feel that we need to do something, and we feel that we can do something. But you can approach it from a more egoistic way. I mean, Telefonica, we have 340 million customers worldwide. We are a massive company in terms of scale, and the only way our company will do well in the future if the societies in which we are operating are doing well in the future. And there is no way this is going to happen with the levels of youth unemployment that we have in some of the countries where we are operating. So was it because it makes us feel better as individuals and as a company? Was it because it's something that we need to do? If we need to have a sustainable business, for us it's a need. We need to be part of this, and we want to really to participate. You will see, and we can provide you with a lot of numbers, but basically levels of youth unemployment, like in countries like Spain, with more than 50% of our young people feeling that there is no future, it's unacceptable. And there is no way we can refrain or abstain from doing something. We are committing already significant resources. We have our own framework of doing this action. It's being executed as we speak, so because for us it was also very important to talk about facts, not about the intention of doing, so we can put on top of the table already a bold, ambitious and an intensive plan that is it's being done. But we think that we are much stronger if we do the thing together. If other companies, other institutions that have the same concern or that share the same mission would join. I think that our plan could be accelerated, and we are ready to accelerate that plan by doing that with other companies, with other members. So that's what it is so important, the session that you are going to be having. We are more than willing to put on top of the table as Telefonica what is our plan, what is what we are doing, and I think that we will learn a lot from Telefonica and from each of the people of the parties that are sitting in this table or connected by seeing what others are doing. From our side, we think that time has come for action, and we will try to make for GAN a credible and visible entity that takes care of something that is concerning millions of people worldwide. So that's it. That's what I wanted to share with you. I will leave you now with the team, and we will go through the session. But if you need to keep just one idea on top of your minds after today, the current situation is unacceptable. I mean, and therefore something needs to be done. We are doing things, but those are not enough. Doing things together could accelerate and provide a solution to a big problem. Okay? Thank you very much.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Brent Wilton. I'm the Secretary General of the IOE, who together with BIAC have been responsible for creating the Global Apprenticeship Network. The reasons that Jose Manuel set out in terms of why Telefonica are involved are pretty much the same reasons why we decided we had to get involved. The issue of youth employment has been on the agenda of the G20 for a number of years now. And we thought it was important as the business community, and we participate in the G20 work, to be actually able to show something is being done about it. Because there's been a lot of words, a lot of good intentions, a lot of statements, a lot of declarations, but we've yet to see anything tangible. So this is an attempt to do something tangible. So what we're trying to do by this network is to reach out globally through our member organisations. I'm a membership organisation of national employer organisations. To reach out through our members to their companies to get engagement around looking to provide opportunities for employment and skills development of young people. The impact of the youth unemployment figures globally now have reached a scale where we are threatening our future economic ability to recover from the crisis that we're going through. We cannot have a lost generation as business or as communities. So we are trying with this. How successful we will be? Well, after today, I'm very optimistic that we are going to get some real engagement on this. We have a number of national employer organisations looking to establish these networks at the national level. We have a number of opportunities to engage with governments to ensure that the policy mix is in place which will support the realisation of what we're doing here. As was mentioned, though, that we've had our first board meeting today, so it is still very young, but we hope in the next 6 months to be able to show clearly some results, some opportunities for youth in the real world, in real time. Now, working on this on behalf of ourselves, IOE and BIAC, in my Secretariat office in Geneva, we have Shay Gopal. Shay is actually from the ILO originally, the International Labour Organisation. She undertook on behalf of the ILO a feasibility study about apprenticeship as being an area for engagement, and she's now gratefully working with us, with ILO support, in making this idea a reality. So I'm now going to hand over the floor, Shay, to you.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. So the Global Apprenticeship Network is skills for business and jobs for youth. Do we have a crisis? We have 73 million young people around the world unemployed. We need 6 million productive jobs by 2020. We have 290 million people not employed, not in education, and not in training. And yet, we had 4 million vacancies that remain unfilled in Europe in 2012. Do we have a crisis? I think we do. But we have a skills mismatch and youth unemployment, which all of these are key priorities for businesses, governments, social partners, and citizens. What is the Global Apprenticeship Network? The GAN is a new coalition, and we just, as they said, had our board meeting, where companies are coming around the table, federations and associations, to sort of say, we are going to work together. Yes, we need the skills, but we really want to commit to make sure that we're having opportunities for youth. And this morning, we have companies already saying that they are taking on X amount of youth through internship programs, through apprentices in 2014, and they're going to put this in writing to sort of say what their commitments are. But also, they're going to work together. There's going to be a business-to-business sort of cooperation around the same issues. Just a bit of background. Why are we getting involved in this? There is a call to action from the G20, and this is not just this year, but through previous G20s. They've been talking about it, we've been talking about it in various fora, but the problem is we haven't taken enough action, and this is an example of actually taking action. At the same time, I led the study for ILO last year. We visited a country per region. I interviewed governments and training providers, but most importantly, businesses. And each one of those companies that I met, almost all of them said, we need to do something. And the conclusion was that we would have an alliance, but driven by employers, because they are the ones that create jobs. The evidence is such that came out of the study is that there is truly a skills mismatch. And the interesting thing is apprenticeships, what makes it so interesting is that people in youth are being trained in the skills that businesses need. And that leads to more productive workforce, less retention, more retention of youth in some of the positions they're in. So coming out of the study, we have very good examples of the German model, the Swiss model, but some innovative models on apprenticeship. And what we want to do is to try to get the evidence and the best practices in all the different countries and companies and share this with one another. Some of the members for now are Telefonica, Jindal Steel, Randstad, Cosconos, Huawei, and we have others also joining. But we also have stakeholders and partners that are involved. We're working very closely with the World Business Council for Sustainability, the Global Compact, the World Economic Forum. We're trying to work closely with them because there are a lot of good initiatives out there as well, and we want to make sure that we're going to be building, not duplicating, but working together. The beneficiaries, of course, are the employers, the federations, the employees, youth, but society in general. So the companies that join the GAN have agreed, and they're going to be signing off on some very simple, very core principles. Basically, they're going to strengthen the commitment and visibility of their company's workforce engaged in apprenticeships and internships as part of their company's human capital development strategy. And almost all the companies, I have to say, that are joining already are doing this. They're willing to share their best practices in the areas of apprenticeships and internships, mentoring as well, and on-the-job training. And the last thing they're going to do is they're going to try to encourage a network, and this can be at the national level, of trying to get other CEOs around the table to come together to support the sharing of knowledge, but also working in partnership to sort of scale up this at an international level. Why join the network? It's a way of getting a link to talent and youth in emerging markets. It's a way to get international recognition of what many of these companies are already doing. It's a potential to build business-to-business partnerships, and it's also to learn about some of the industry intelligence around apprenticeships. It is a cost-effective one-stop package where with our website and some of our sharing of best practices, you'll be able to pick up information about quality apprenticeship and internship programs. The GAN activities, media events. Now, the CEOs who will be involved were very aware that their time is very limited. And so we have said there would be only 2 meetings a year where they might attend, but there would be media events very targeted to, and particularly we're interested in having some of the CEOs who were themselves ex-apprentice to go out on a global stage and promote and elevate the status of work-based training. We're going to have the establishment of national and regional networks. We have 2 countries that are already interested in joining, and they will be sort of promoting the idea of the GAN nationally within their country, bringing other CEOs around the table, but then having partnerships with training providers and other groups so that they can promote and get a better sort of partnership around apprenticeships. There's going to be knowledge sharing in a business-like sort of format, trying to bring some of the very good research of OECD, of ILO, and of businesses around what they're doing and some of the knowledge sharing in this area. And we will, of course, be reporting on our impact and the commitments of companies. So that's just a very brief summary of what we're going to be doing. And now I open up the floor to some of the companies who are around the table if you have any questions, queries, or if you want to make any comments.
Anybody?
Yes, thank you very much. I'll gladly take the baton from here. Allow me to introduce myself, Bettina Schaller. I head Adecco Group's Global Public Affairs, and I'm delighted to be here on behalf of our CEO, Patrick de Mesner, and our EC board. Unfortunately, they couldn't make the trip because they're all in the States right now. As the largest provider of HR solutions in the world, you can imagine that the topic is at the bottom of our heart, and we are highly concerned, and therefore we highly recognize and congratulate you for this initiative. We have ourselves been involved in the various platforms that have already been named today, be it from the G20 to our involvement in World Economic Forum initiatives as one of the strategic partners, We're obviously following closely the initiatives driven at EU level, at EU Commission level as well. We're actually close to looking at the European Charter on Quality Internships and Apprenticeships driven by the European Youth Forum. So there is absolutely no doubt that, as you can see, we are busy aligning ourselves to make sure that we can contribute in the way that we would like to do so. We're part of an industry that has recognized the importance of bringing, obviously, the youth into the labor market. And as staffing companies, our role in the transitions, be it from education to work or in that case from apprentice into the real world is recognized. We have launched a series of pledges which we as a company have picked up in our key markets. If I can share with you the pledge of Adecco Group France, for instance, they have pledged that over the next 3 years they will find jobs for 250,000 people in France. Now, we are, as I said, seeing as there is such a multitude of initiatives in a position where we find it very important to bring those together. And this is definitely the added value that we see in the Global Apprenticeship Network and that we hope the network will achieve as such. We will do what we can to contribute to the network's goals. Surely there is one element or one hindrance which we see in our daily approach, and that comes from the structural and regulatory environment that the youth and the services we try to deliver to the youth move in. So if we can add any point to this discussion, then it would be to approach together, all together, the structural regulatory hindrances that there are in many cases in actually providing those apprenticeships. And the second element would be, we see in many countries that there is the interest to create and to bring apprenticeship models on the table, but there's actually difficulties in finding the youth and getting them to this apprenticeship option as well. And this is where we would like to offer our contribution to the GAN and in general. Thank you very much again on behalf of our company for having us here today, and we look forward to taking it on from here. Thank you.
Anyone else? Anyone else? Well, I think it's time for sharing. That's my point. That's time for sharing. Well, as we clothing the agenda, we had to probably this a good practice, best outcome, good practices. We have now the possibility to see what Siemens is doing in apprenticeship and in young people. And the second presentation will be about the program that Telefonica has, which is called Talentum. So someone here is going to present the one from Siemens, isn't it? She's going to present. Let's. I think that I have to do it. So, sorry, 1 second. I'll give you now the mouse, and I'm sorry. Is it? The mouse and keyboard is.
Yeah, while we're setting this up, thanks for inviting us to share with you and to introduce ourselves. My name is Jürgen Siebel. I head within our Siemens professional education outfit the international business, so we are also trying to do more about apprentices in our global markets. We are very strong traditionally, of course, in our home market, which is a country that has a long tradition in vocational education and training, I think about 500 years. Someone may correct me, but and in Siemens, over 100 years, since 1892. So we are well established there. We have occasional activities in other countries. In Europe, about 1,000 apprentices on board right now. Outside Germany, in Germany, 10,000, so you see the dimensions. And if you subtract Austria and Switzerland from those countries, then we're down to about maybe 300 other apprentices in the rest of Europe, which is a bit sad, and we're trying to move in this direction. We have come here, and Ulrike will introduce herself when I hand over, to share with you something that's not everything we do in apprenticeship. It's a minor, if you will, or small detail, but I think a very interesting one. And I want to start, what do I do, just by clicking, or? Yes. Ah, wonderful, yeah. So we want to share very high level our position on why we believe apprenticeship is important. You see the top line here is to overcome the crisis we have with youth employment, we need both growth. Without growth, there will be no chance to overcome this. But secondary, the second issue is really education reform. And I don't want to go through all those points. You can read them, and I guess the slides will be distributed anyhow in the aftermath of this meeting. But I want to highlight the middle section, education reform, and there the middle point, modernize vocational education and translate the duality of theory and application to other forms of education. And that's very dear to me because we come from Germany, we're Germans, and everybody is already fed up, you know, that the German model, dual education. There's a lot to reform in Germany too. And my belief is that combining theory taught in classrooms with application at company level is the most effective way of learning. Regardless how you structure it, you don't need all the institutions that we have in Germany and all the same settings. You don't need that. You can make any line of education more work-based. Any university curriculum that exists, any training course, everything can be more work-based. And I think that's the way we should move, and so you can adjust whatever you need in a respective market to your local traditions, and you don't have to do anything that's German. Yeah? And it's very dear to me that you understand we're not pushing in this direction. It's the combination that's the trick. And all other things you can read by yourself. And I would now like to take another point from the middle section, the first one, the choice of STEM subjects. It's also debated a lot. I think we have, in particular in Europe, far too little people choosing STEM subjects as their line of work. By the way, I learned that the choice or the the affinity to technology actually is determined at the age of about 8 to 9 years old. So we really have to go into schools if we want to change that. But apart from that, we should also look at any kind of measure that helps us to get more people interested in technology. What we share with you today, in particular Ulrike will share with you because she's the expert, is that we now believe, and we're at the beginning, that we've found a way to find out more about the preferences of people than they may actually even know for themselves. And in particular here we have this problem of finding enough girls choosing STEM subjects, so the diversity issue, it translates all the way into our companies. We have 25% of our workforce in Siemens globally is female, and if we are now to meet targets like having 30% of our management positions filled with females, it's already difficult just from that baseline that we're coming from. So if we want to push the diversity agenda, we have to do more about girls choosing STEM subjects, what we will share with you now as our best practice, or good practice, if it's best, we don't know, is that we have found a way to get a little closer, maybe. And we would really like to make this a very informal and open session, so do ask questions. I ask you because we need a few slides to get to where the point is. Maybe the questions more towards the end, but without further ado, over to Ulrike, who will take you as the expert through our material here.
Yes, thank you very much. Hello, everybody. My name is Ulrike Assmann. In Siemens, I'm responsible for the selection process of apprentices. So I'm taking care of all the tools that we use in this process and which I'm going to explain to you in the following slides. At first, some words about Siemens Professional Education. So we're the service provider of dual education, vocational training in Siemens and also for external cooperation partners. And our claim is to provide a high quality in education and to be innovative in what we do. So in terms of modern forms of teaching or educational media, we have to be international because Siemens is it's a worldwide acting company. So we have to have foreign languages and overseas experience, which we offer to our apprentices. And quality is our core, actually. We have very experienced lecturers, so who know how to teach and how to create learning effects for young people, and who also know the business needs very well. And last but not least, our social responsibility is something that we really take care of. So we have a program for disadvantaged young people and for young people with disabilities as well. Here are just a few figures that you get an idea about the volume. Actually, so we hired more than 2,000 young people in this year to start an apprenticeship, and 70% actually in the technical field, 21% in the commercial field, and 9% at the Siemens Technik Academy, which actually can be counted to the technical fields. So we need to have young people who are interested in STEM subjects because that's our core business. If you look to the right, you see that the total number of apprentices in Siemens is almost 7,000, external almost 3,000, so in total 10,000 young people, which are in our different programs, mainly in the technical programs. And if you look at the number of females, it is about 11% in the technical fields, which is pretty low. And if we want to get more females in our jobs, actually, we have to start in our apprenticeships and get more females as well in our technical apprenticeships. We have around 200 cooperation partners, which is for us a good feedback, actually. Mainly small and medium-sized enterprises use our experience as a service provider in education programs. So we train their young people, actually. The demographic change has some challenges for us as well. We have a large number of applicants still. So we had around 45,000 applicants this year for more than 2,000 apprentice positions, which is a large number, but still in some regions of Germany, we have difficulties to fill the positions. And especially in some STEM subjects, where we just lack candidates who are interested in it. Because we have a lot of candidates who are interested in commercial jobs, mainly the females, of course, and we have to somehow motivate them to go in the technical field as well. Here's a brief overview of our recruitment process. We start actually at the applicant's home, where they fill out an online application form, and then they directly are routed into our online assessment, which I will show you on the next slide. Afterwards, this whole package of data that we have from the candidates and their test results arrives in our recruiting center, where we have very experienced recruiters doing a best fit selection, actually. So they look at the test results first, look at the school marks, look at what the candidates are interested in, and also start communicating with them. So it's not just something that happens on a screen or via email or something like that. There is a personal contact, and there is also some career counseling. Afterwards, the good candidates are invited to an assessment center or an interview, which is followed then by a job offer and hiring. As announced, you can see here our online assessment, which consists of 3 fields of abilities that we are testing. So we have abstract logical abilities, which are very relevant for the technical and the IT jobs, mainly. We have verbal abilities, of course, for all kinds of communications, especially also in the commercial fields, and numerical abilities, which are actually relevant for all kinds of our jobs somehow. So we can we generate from the online assessment an individual profile of abilities, and we look at the position that we want to, we look at the position that we have to fill and the profile of abilities of each candidate very closely. It's not an automated process. It's the personal view of a recruiter who looks at it and says, okay, it fits, it doesn't fit, I have to do a phone call, I have to start personal communications. Here you can see, I'm sorry, some text got lost somehow. So what you can see here is the red colored lines represent the women, the blue ones represent the men, and on the left you see the preferences for commercial jobs. And this is something that we knew, of course, from the last years, that women mainly prefer commercial professions. 75% of our female candidates want to do something in the commercial field. If you look in the middle, you see exactly the opposite picture. And this is, of course, the technical jobs. And 68% of the male candidates want to do something in the technical field, and only 21 of the women. And on the right, you see the IT jobs, which are even less attractive, obviously, for women, although IT is a growing field for us. Yes, please.
One of the questions I have about this is in terms of social stereotyping.
Yeah.
I mean, there is this historical expectation. I remember it as a teenager with my parents, in terms of what my sister was meant to do and what I was meant to do.
Yeah.
That was there. There's also, though, this issue of the parents wanting the children to do better than they did themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And so this idea of many friends of mine who came from homes where the father was a tradesman, electrician or a plumber, university. You need to go to university, you don't want these dirty skills, you want a nice clean job in an office.
Yes.
Do you see that coming into place still, in terms of the way in which younger people are looking at their career choices? Because for me, that I think is one of the big issues. The schools have a role to play, but also I think parents have a role to play in changing some of that social dynamic. I mean, I now live in Switzerland, not New Zealand, but if you want to be rich in Switzerland, you become an electrician. I mean, the richest people I know are electricians, or a plumber, or someone who actually does work with tools, not the lawyer or the accountant. So I think we need to start to shift that perception of where a bountiful life can come from. It's not necessarily a commercial process.
Absolutely. We are working on that, and especially the parents play an important role in this process. So we invite parents to Siemens, and we show them what we're doing. So we especially do like parents meeting the company evenings. Yeah. So, and that's good. That's they are very interested in it, and they love to come and see what their kids might do later on. So, but still, I mean, we can try to convince young people, but they themselves then have to start talking to their parents as well, and then the whole thing might come back.
And I want to add one point regarding the standing of vet education as being something second class for second class kids, for those who don't make it into university. Now, we see, and we haven't shared this information here, but today already as we speak, 30% of our apprentices actually go through what we call dual studies program. So they don't only have the classical, technical skills and vocational skills, they also study and they earn at the same time both a job certificate from the Chamber of Commerce and a bachelor degree in a technical field or in business administration. So the trend, even in Germany being so the model, is moving away from just providing the trades or anything like this. It's providing education that actually reaches into the tertiary. And that is a trend that's escalating at the moment. So we are offering something, and that's why I said you can make any university course work-based. You don't have to look at the German model. You can take what you have and then address the needs and aspirations of the parents and say, if you want your kid to study, yes, okay, send it to university, but send it to a university that offers a work-based course. That is the message.
I'm just thinking in terms of the material that we start to click for the website. I mean, there's a couple of issues which were raised by yourself, like the legislative barriers, etc. we need to capture. But these sorts of examples of hearing the Swiss system, the German system, this move, we need to capture a lot of this and make it a lot more accessible. I think that's one of the big tools that the GAN can play in bringing this all together.
Maybe if I may, and now I speak not only on behalf of Adecco, but as a Swiss citizen, which happens to be. So Adecco is a Swiss holding, but I'm also Swiss myself. And funny enough, I didn't go through the Swiss schooling system. But anyway, but what you mentioned is very important. And Switzerland being the other model, offers, the two biggest universities are technical high schools. The ETH in Zurich, Eidgenössische Technische Hochschule, et à Lausanne, c'est l'EPFL, l'École Polytechnique de Lausanne. And l'EPFL, for instance, has just won the biggest EU-funded grant in research over 1 billion Swiss francs. And what I'm trying to say is, so it's state-funded, in cooperation with business, and there's this linkage between obviously the business needs and what training can give. An interesting element there is tuition for young people costs 160 Swiss francs per semester. So this is where, and this is another topic I could have added earlier as a third element, is the financing of the whole system. And we're actually honestly seeing that the finances are there. So it's not a matter of there's no money around, but it's how is it allocated and to which type of programs. So yes, I would strongly encourage you to look at this Swiss model with the ETH and the EPFL as one of the possibilities.
Okay. So to come back to this point, this is, as I said, is something that we knew. These are the preferences. That is, we know in parts what the origin is, but somehow they just decide, okay, women, I prefer something commercially, and the men, I prefer something technically. So since we changed our online assessment now, because we had before a technical test and a commercial test, and we only knew the one side, so they were interested in something commercially, they did the commercial test, and they passed or failed. But we never knew whether they would have been good in something technically on the other side. So this is actually what we wanted to achieve by having only one test done by everyone. And now that we changed this in summer of this year, we came to a, for us, very surprising and very positive result. Because if we look at the test results here, they have this normal distribution curve, but and I'm sorry because it's somehow not shown correctly. It has to be really, if you can see it like this. So what we can see here, is that actually the curves are similar between women and men, so we cannot say women are less good in the technical parts of the test than the men. That was the first very important knowledge for us that we got from this. And what was extremely great for us was that these orange lines represent IT. And on the left side is always the best result. And you see here that the women score extremely high in these IT tests. And this was like really the best thing for us in this, because it's really something that we can use and that we can work with. Because we can call those candidates, say, okay, you haven't applied for something commercially, but we can tell you something that you probably didn't know about yourself. So you might be very good in the IT field. So think about it, come to us, have a look at what we do, and maybe we can convince you and you change your mind.
Sounds like another Siemens opportunity for a business product. You sell this to all of the schools of the world. It'd be wonderful.
I'm not sure.
Well, I'll do it.
Yeah, so by this we just see many opportunities for us to use it in the recruiting process and to get in more contact to candidates and try to convince them. So we would like to summarize this together.
Yeah, I mean, I think the striking evidence, and we can open this to discussion, is really, we believe with a uniform test, we can show people something that they were obviously not fully aware of. Whether it changes their minds in terms of applying for another job that they may be more capable of, we don't know yet. It's the first year that we have this plan, so we will use this information and then see what happens. But definitely we can say that these test results really give us a more comprehensive picture of the whole range of talent that the person brings to the table, and that we can actually use that.
Yeah, and it is actually something really positive for us and for the candidates as well, because we can offer something like strength-based career counseling. So we can tell them something positive about themselves as a chance to learn about themselves.
And it also, of course, puts us in a better position to have a more personal and direct contact with them, because we can give them really well-founded feedback about themselves.
Yeah, and so by this, as we said, we've just started, but it is an opportunity for us to fill our vacancies with the really best fit candidates, not just with the ones who are interested in it, but the ones where we also say, okay, it's best fit, to just create a better matching of the candidate's talents and the job requirements.
Yeah, and with having said this, I think we've used up more of the time that was allocated to us. But still, if you have any questions to the slides, to anything else that came to your mind while we were talking, floor is yours.
Can I just ask you one question? You said that in some areas you still have a shortage, so you cannot recruit young people with the kind of skill you're looking for. Are you now recruiting also from other European countries, or most of your recruits are actually German?
Well, theoretically, you can apply from anywhere in the world because it's online based. And we have, however, some obstacles that were mentioned earlier. For instance, if you want to earn a degree from the Chamber of Commerce in Germany, the test in the end has to be in the German language, which is one of those areas for reform in our country. We do have one project, it's called Europeans at Siemens. It's in Berlin, where we currently train about 60 kids from and young adults from all over Europe. They are selected by our regional companies in their home countries, sent to Germany, do the vocational training course there, and then have a employment guarantee from the sending Siemens entity in their home country. But that, to be honest, it's a good showcase, and a lot of politicians, because it's in Berlin, we show it to all the visiting ministers from other countries, but it's second best in the sense that it would be better if we could train people where they live. But we do look for candidates from everywhere if we have to fill positions, certainly.
Okay, thank you very much. And now I think we will move on to Telefonica, who's going to share with us some of their best practices.
Okay, so good afternoon. Maybe I have the mouse. Oh. I will be very brief because I think we are running out of time, and I will use less than 10 minutes just to explain very briefly something that we are doing called Talentum Startups. Just to leave the key word, it's about open innovation. So my presentation is not about propaganda, it's just a call to join. So you are more than invited to join. And I will insist about that. So I will use 10 minutes, but I want that after we have 3 of the Talentum startups that come and just explain what was the program from their point of view. I think it's even more interesting maybe that there's some data or things that I will show. And we are doing this because it's not about aesthetics. I love art, but it's about economics. It's about core business. And I think this was also the flavor that you had in the discussion before. So, I mean, I can't bother you with a lot of data. Here you have some. When you look at unemployment, the relation with innovation, it seems that it's pretty strong. And you can make a lot of exercise. So we thought that this was about core business. When you look at the shortage that we will have just in Europe for the next 2 years, I'm talking here about technical careers, where we'll have a lag of nearly 1 million of vacancies, job vacancies. And if you go to more micro data with Spain, look at what happened in Spain over the last 10 years, and said by Nelly Cross in the European Commission, it looks like it's pretty, and Stefano that is here probably have even more data from the OECD. It's not specific to Spain, but look at the numbers. The enrollments in universities for engineering, computing, telecommunications, whatever engineering, dropped by 40%. So we have a huge mismatch. We have a problem there. And this is why we did this program. So we have Talentum universities. This is, let's say, a traditional internship recruiting platform. I won't extend on this. We will be, you have the numbers that are there. So this is already a pledge. There's another program that is Talentum Startups, which is about activating people that are already not in the job market. The ones that are in Talentum universities, they are in the job market. Talentum Startups, they are still in the universities. And obviously, and I agree a lot with my colleagues from Siemens, we are very, very active and willing to be very active with kids and teens, because we think that obviously you need to activate that even before that you already choose in which career, which university, so you need to deploy there. I won't be insisting on the left on Talentum schools, not insisting on Talentum universities. I don't have time. I will focus on Talentum startups so I can do my call. This is the Open Innovation Program. So basically we start very lean. One country last year, so we don't have the same track record than the colleagues from Germany. But when we say Open Innovation, we are collaborating with 20 accelerators of startups. So this is only just for Spain. 20 universities, already 3 corporations. I will tell a more about that. 3 foundations and 3 town hall, city halls. And there's obviously 300 university students. Some of them are here that have been activated through this program. The program is the following one. We offer a selection process. This is the key. Hackers, Chema and colleagues that are the key. We are not selecting. We are not activating. We are not doing the selection. The selection is run by hackers. Chema has been very key in the program. Without him, it would have been, not impossible, but hardly difficult to deploy. They do the selection process. There's a battery of tests, interviews. I have no time to extend this here. Once they are selected, you have mentorship, coaching. They are involved. And Chema is among one of the world's best known hackers. So for these kids over there, it's like a type of, I don't know if, not God, but something special, okay? So they have 3 months full-time program. So they come with their own ideas. It's a fast track. 20% they are going through the fast track, and the other 80%, 6 months, part-time, and they are going, this is a long track. So they are still studying, all of them, and one will be full-time during the year or during the summer, and the others, they will go straight to the accelerators. So accelerators there you have, we are working with 20 of them. In each accelerators you have 10 startups, so it's 200 startups that are benefiting from the program. 20 universities, you have them, and the mentors, I will tell a bit more about that. This is the deployment in Spain. Spain is a bit like Germany. It's pretty decentralized. So we love Germany. We want to deploy in Germany and Brazil. These are the two next countries, because we feel that it would be a good match. In Spain, you see, we are nearly covering all the cities. This is very important. Again, is for university students. So we are not taking them away from the universities and to put them in Madrid or in Barcelona. If they are studying in Malaga, in Granada, in Zaragoza, or in Bilbao, they continue the studies in the Polytechnic, local Polytechnic, and they have the immersion in the accelerators with the startups or with their own projects mentored by Chema and others like Chema. Here they are, so Chema Alonso, there's others, Fernando Rodriguez, Francisco Serradilla, Alfonso, well, several of them that are collaborating. We receive more than 4,000 candidates the first year. There's the first cut, you see that we have a drop by 80%, so it's pretty heavy, the selection. And in the end, when you go till the end, it's less than 10% that goes through the cut. So this is very important, because I will tell a bit more about the filters, but it's very important, two things. One, again, it's decentralized. You see that we are trying to reach also the poorest areas in Spain. So if you only focus in Madrid and Barcelona, it's nice, but it's not enough. So you need to reach and to deploy in a very decentralized way. So we are reaching the south, we are reaching the north, Galicia or Andalusia, which are depressed areas. These are the 200 startups, some of them that are already supported and benefiting from the program. So it's like doing apprenticeship, but in a high-density entrepreneurship environment. So it's pretty special. It's not you come to Telefonica and you do an apprenticeship with us. It's not that. So you go in a very high-density environment, in this case accelerators with a lot of entrepreneurs and startups, or mentors that are hackers, and you deploy your talent. You discover, you activate, you empower. It's what we are trying to do. Sorry. So this is what happened after one year. So some of them are continuing studying, so they will be in second to third year and so on. 75% are starting now in the job market, so we will see also the results of the program. What we see is that some of them will be working in big corporations, so the ones that are collaborating with the program, most of them, Telefonica, Ericsson, and others that will be joining. But also, the other half, they are building startups or working with startups, and for us is very important there, that. So it's also about that. We are adding now, we are scaling the program, so this program is called Talentum Startups, it's not called Telefonica Startups. Very important, because we want to have the platform and now to scale up with others joining. The first one was Ericsson that joined. We have foundations, we have 11 Path, other companies. The founder of 11 Path is Chema, and others that are already joining. It's about talent. So here what we did is some of them this year, for example, in 2013, 100 of them, we invited 100 of them to go to Campus Party, which is a big tech show in London. 10,000 of them were like them, from all Europe were there. So 100 from the Talentum Startups pool were there. And 1% of them, okay, of the total of the 10,000. And they beat in all the categories of the beauty contest, the 6 of them, they won prizes in all of them. In 2 of them, even I think they won the second, and the third. So, and they were with 10,000 of them, like them. So it's really to activate, detect, activate, and empower talent. I will end with this. We are scaling up the first company that joined is Ericsson. So with Ericsson, we are deploying not only in Spain now, we are willing to deploy in Germany. happy to discuss with Siemens in Munich, with other companies, in Switzerland or whatever. We are also doing Brazil. We want to do more in Europe, maybe another country that could be UK on another one, and in Latin America, probably Colombia on another one. We are also connecting these with everything that we are doing in the company, even if it's pretty far away from, let's say, technology. Biking, it looks pretty far away from technology, right? So what we did, it's the first one, it's a bike lab. So we have the R&D of the sector, are the Movistar team. These are the R&D of biking. I mean, top guys that they are professionals, etc. So there will be 10 of Talentum startups that will be working with them to design apps, to design whatever they want to design. And we want to systematize that. We are discussing with companies to do it in electricity, with a big multinational from Italy. Well, we can multiply this type of platforms now. This is the companies. I put some of them because we started to discuss with, in the case of Siemens, I went to Munich already one time, and here in Madrid with Samsung, Qualcomm, and others that we want to have them on board and to broaden the partners network. I'm handing here because the most important is that you listen to some testimonies. I just want to present you someone. I mean, two persons. Chema, that is here, this is a learning by doing process, so we are trying to improve, and with also Rosalia, which she's I mean, helping with the team to scale up the program. We believe that the most important thing here in the end is I mean, it can be that they join Telefonica or Ericsson or other companies, fine, but it's not about that only. We have other programs for that. It's really about activating talent. So I want to give the floor 8 minutes, so you have 2 minutes, 3 minutes each, to Enrique, the first one, Enrique Mendoza. He's coming from Canary Islands. He was one of the very first that we did a beta test not this summer, a year ago in 2012. He's 3 months he was in the short track, and maybe you can explain, Enrique, what you have been doing and what you are doing now. He studied, by the way, robotics. He's doing a PhD or finished a PhD also in computing and other very intelligent, bright things that he's doing.
Yes, on behalf of, thank you, Javier, on behalf of time, as some guys have to take the plane, and well, you know, this is the long weekend, so probably if you can, you three can adjust your presentation in 10 minutes could be great.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Okay.
Don't worry.
The sooner you can, the faster the better.
I'm Enrique Mendoza. I'm 26 years old, and like Javier said, I'm from Canary Island. I'm a computer science engineer with a master in robotics, and I'm PhD investigator. I consider myself like a young entrepreneur. During these 3 or 4 years, I tried to change the world with crazy and useful ideas. And my experience in Talentum startups has got several periods. Last year, I was selected as one of the first Talentum startup. I spent all my holidays developing Yes We Coin, a mobile application to make micro donation of 1 cent per day to the social causes that you choose every day. It was very, very easy to use. You download the app, acquire credit if you don't have coins, and select one cause, one project that you want to support. If the next day you want to change your selection, you can do it. So I think that these 3 months was very important in my life. First of all, because I learned a lot. I don't know how to program a mobile application, but I can do it now. I learned a lot of communication, a lot of businesses, that world of entrepreneurship. Second, because I spent my time with 10 incredible people there in Talentum. And last but not least, because after Talentum, I entered in a startup accelerator here in Madrid, and I ran up my first company called Haizu, a mobile application to meet people through hashtags. In that moment, I started my second period as a Talentum person, because as a founder of a company in that accelerator, Telefonica gave us another Talentum long track that helped me to develop my platform during 6 months. This person was very young, only 19 years old, but with a lot of knowledge in programming languages and very ambitious to create a business with me. So now I'm working in another startup called Quakea. Quakea is Twitter by voice. It's a microblog where you don't have to write your words. You just say to your smartphone and share it with with everybody. Quakea is another project, another company created by a project of Talentum startup. Tony, its CEO, was sharing with me and with Miguel these 3 months 1 year ago. And I'm very happy because I'm working with a friend that I met, one of my best friends here in Madrid. Apart from that, I'm in touch with people, with new Talentum people that came to the program, and I try to help them with the project, with their ideas, teaching all what I know and learning from them as well. So as you can see, Talentum has changed my life. But moreover, Talentum gave us the opportunity to go to international events like Campus Party. For example, I was there. And I won 3 prizes in 3 different competitions. But also Talentum teaches us something very important, networking. Thanks to Telefonica, a big company, like also Siemens, Adecco, or wherever, or Ericsson, could give us the opportunity to connect with the whole world. So I would like to thank all the Talentum team for trust me, and especially Chema Alonso for selecting me as one of the first hackers of Talentum. As you can see, as I said before, my dream was change the world with crazy and useful ideas, but I think that Telefonica was faster than me and do it before. In my opinion, what Talentum is doing for young people, as me, is very important. They are making their dreams real, and I think that they are going to change the way that we know Spain, Europe, and the whole world. No? As you can see also, the selection process is very hard. Only 8% of us could become a Talentum, because I think they don't look for university students that study for work in a big company. I think they look for university people that are very ambitious, hardworking, and want to create that big company to employ people. So in my opinion, that's the main point. Many talented people is going to create a big company. They are going to employ hundreds of thousands of another young people, and they are going to develop technology that are going to change our lives. So why I think that? Because I think that the best people can do better. Thanks.
Well, I'm Adrian Jimenez. I'm 24 years old, and a year ago I was just finishing my studies in telecommunication engineering, and I have never thought about entrepreneurship programs or something related to that area. And then Telefonica came to my university to give some talks and explain how the program was. And after speaking with Miguel, that was my classmate there at university, he had been in the program 1 year before. So I talked to him, and he told me that it was a great experience, and so I decided to apply for it. And after a written test and an interview with Chema, I was selected to be one of 14 guys who were here in Madrid developing our project. I developed an Android application with a facial recognition software to identify people that are going to houses to do some sort of job, like maintenance, electricity maintenance works or tasks, so the client can know if the people that is going to their house is the real technician or not. Because this maybe is not a problem here, but is a problem in other countries like, well, in South America or in the United States, is really a problem. And not only for technical tasks, but imagine if you have to let your son or your daughter with a babysitter, and you know if is the real one. So to sum up, we were 14 boys and girls, and the best thing that he said before is that we connected very well, because at the beginning we were all a little bit shy, because we didn't know each other and we were programmers and all technical. But as weeks passed by, we saw that we had a lot of things in common. We love technology. We wanted to create things, and we were all a little bit geek. So they are really amazing, and I have the sense that I have learned more in this year than in the degree, that is 4 years. And it's very important because when you end up university, you have a very technical view, and you don't see things that like business or legal aspects that could help you to make and run your own company. And that's what Talentum is, because we have a lot of talks for legal aspects, and it's really big, helps to open your mind and see how the real world is. And now I'm working here in Telefonica as a network engineer. I'm in an internship at Talentum University, that is the program for people who has finished their degree, and I'm very happy here.
Adrián, Miguel.
Okay, hi, my name is Miguel Pagan Murphy, and I wanted to start off by, thanking you, everybody here, because I think it's a big opportunity. You don't usually get to see young people in these kind of environments, and I think it's, it's a very big opportunity in that sense. So what I'm going to talk about is a bit, not only what my experience in Talentum startups, but more specifically what happened later. So to start, I'll say that before Talentum startups, I was just a normal student, or at least as normal as you can get a telematics engineer bilingual student to be, so in that sense. And yeah, July 2012, I started off at Talentum Short Track. I presented a project. Basically, it was a mobile application to help young people connect with companies. The idea was with the objective of developing their skills, their professional skills. After finishing the 3 months scholarship, I decided to found it as a startup, and it worked more or less during for a whole year. But 3 months ago, we had to shut down. Basically, a competitor which had a very similar idea got €1,300,000 funding. So at least we can say that it was a good idea and that it developed well. Also during that time, thanks to the knowledge I developed during the program, I went to various programming contests and entrepreneurship contests. We actually won with another couple of friends from Talentum 3 national prizes from Microsoft and HTML5 Open, a prize, geeky prize. And yeah, at the same, as well as all that, I was able to go to the Start Camp, to an entrepreneurs events, and all sorts of things. Even this summer, I was selected to go for a development course to Moldova, which is not a very big known country, but where we appeared on national television and all sorts of things. And right now, once I've done all this, what I'm doing is I'm working for the Board of European Students of Technology, where I entered a month ago, more or less. I'm now the funding responsible for the association, which is very weird because normally it's an important position and it takes a long time for people to fill it up. But what can I say? The skills that I'd been earning all this time or getting all this time served me well in this sense, and well, I was able to convince everyone that I was a good person for this position. And I'm also organizing one of the biggest technology fairs in a university of style in Spain. And I've got to say that all this wouldn't have been possible if it hadn't been for the whole program. Basically, the main reason for this is not only the whole training, not only the environment, the people you work with, but also there's an important factor here, and it's the validation of your ideas, right? And thinking that what you're doing is actually useful and can be important. I think that society and the universities in Spain, at least, tend to shut people down and just not give them enough space to grow. And I think they don't tend to promote ideas. In fact, any idea I've tried executing in the university has always been very difficult to do. And well, it's a pity. Precisely what Talentum showed me was that all these things were able to, the young people were able to do them. Young people were able to, start startups, work in companies, and gain experience and enjoy it at the same time, because it's something that I think we enjoy a lot. And yeah, well, basically, well, that's my experience, and I think it says a lot for the program. So, well, thanks a lot.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you. Well, as we are probably all run out of time because this guy has to take the plane, just tell you, all of you, thank you for joining us. Thank you for your time. Thank you for being here. Thank you for this sharing of experience. And probably the best objective, or the greatest objective that GAN has is trying to connect. GAN is trying to promote that every company has its own goal, its own project, its own commitments, its own big idea, which is probably Talentum is one example, or the one that you have in Siemens, probably is a good example. But probably also the second possibility, or the second great opportunity that we have is to connect initiatives. Probably this chart reflects this idea. This one program that one is connecting different programs for other companies. And I think that this is the other potentiality of an association like GAN. Not only that every company has its own program, but also how to connect all of them. As we said in the board, if we, the companies who are involved in this initiative, are not able to do this kind of things, who is going to be able? So we have 3 examples, only 3. Probably if we work with you in Siemens, we find much more examples. But well, I don't use the Mr. Obama words, but I think that we can. Well, thank you for your time. Thank you for this experience, and well, we'll go later in the next month. Thank you for everybody.
No, thank you.